Hello everyone. Today I'm going to give a real short breakdown about reading people and body language and a couple of things to understand when we do breakdowns of body language. Remember, nonverbal communication, which is your body language, it represents 93%, some people say, of the actual message that's getting communicated. The 7% is the words. Nonverbals include gestures, facial expressions, tone of voice, things like that. The body language is something that you definitely want to look for. And again, if the body language is contradicting the words that are coming out, we all know that you cannot stop your body from speaking. Your emotions, your feelings, your frustrations, your anger, that comes out through your body language, and it just happens naturally. Now, the most, how can you say, prepared people, the people that are trained the most to communicate effectively and to mask that body language are typically politicians. And so today we are going to give a breakdown of the viral Macron wife shove in the face or slap in the face to show you some of the consistencies in the body language. Now, when the French president comes down and says, oh, it was nothing, we were just playing around, we were just joking around, I'm going to show you a couple of things that help us to realize, and I think we pretty much all do, but just things that are inconsistent with what he's saying. So let's take a look at what's going on here. So this is the video. I'm going to press play, and I think we've got this on the full screen. You can watch it. But these are up here, if you follow the mouse, some of the workers that are opening up the plane. This is probably one of the stewards from inside. So here we go. The plane door opens. The president is here in the background, obviously looking over here and speaking with who we later find out is his wife. So something is happening. He's not prepared, which is a rare situation in this instance because usually politicians are always prepared and their handlers and their staff don't let them get into positions where they will make an embarrassing faux pas or where they will do something that will cause tabloids and news agencies to suspect something. Now, sometimes they do those things on purpose. Sometimes they stage those events to draw attention to something because they want to draw attention away from something else, aka Wag the Dog. If you've never seen that movie, something to go take a look at. So let's continue. Zooming in, oh, and there is this red arm that slaps him or pushes him in the face. He says something, and now he realizes, oh, whoops, the door is open. I'm now in the public view, and I need to make a good response, make a smile, wave at everybody. She's clearly frustrated. That's a sign of stress sometimes, is pushing your hair back when you see something going on. Let's just keep our eyes on the steward here as well, as he's kind of like, uh-oh, folding his hands and looking back. And here it is in slow motion. You can see the hand come in, push him in the face. She sees it, he sees it, they both back off. This guy doesn't see anything that's going on. I think we get a little bit of a closer up. She's clearly seeing something she shouldn't have and kind of like, oh my goodness, and walking away, stepping aside. Here is the zoom, real time, coming out. Now, how do we know that there's something wrong here between the two of them? You're going to see a very key signal coming up. She's stepping out. We now know she was the one wearing the red jacket. We couldn't see her before. He waves to the cameras. He's being very political, shaking the steward's hand, who he obviously has seen something that he knows he shouldn't have seen, or that something that was embarrassing to the president. Here's what happens. He steps down in front, holds his arm out for her to grasp it going down the stairs, which is a gesture of etiquette, right? You should escort your wife down the stairs. Well, watch what happens. She doesn't take it. She just walks down and he's stuck holding his arm in this kind of awkward escorty type of position as he's walking down the stairs. And she's clearly not wanting to look up. They're not looking at each other. And you see that there is obviously something going on between the two of them. He later was to come out and say something to the effect of, well, we were just joking around. Obviously, you can tell from the body language, she's not looking up. She's deliberate walking down the stairs. She did not take his arm. He offered his arm to be political and to be gracious and to be kind and to make a good impression for everyone that was watching, which he was surprised by that. She is not having nothing to do with that. And so when you talk about examining body language and making some interpretations of what's going on when you're seeing body language and when you're seeing certain messages take place, a couple of things that you need to factor in. Number one is context. There's a lot of people out there that will just say, oh, his arms were closed, so he must be mad. Or his arms were folded, so he must be mad. Or maybe he was cold. Or maybe she was cold. So we can't just interpret some kind of movement or some kind of gesture. There's people that will say, they're looking up to the right, they must be lying. Or they're looking up to the left, they must be lying, because looking up to the left is a sign that you're lying or whatever. Now, there's, of course, some generalizations that people have made about some of those things. That doesn't mean they're not true. But just looking up to the left or looking up to the right by itself doesn't mean anything outside of context. And so the context is important. When somebody says we were joking around and you look at the entirety of the situation in the context, you can see that it doesn't match up. He gets slapped in the face. He's embarrassed by it. He watches it on has to make a nice smile and look at everyone and give a wave. He offers his arm to try to make it look good. She's having nothing to do with it and walks down the stairs by herself. So just a couple of pointers when you're talking about interpreting body language. It must be in context. Number two, it really, the best is when it matches the verbiage. When somebody says something and the body language confirms what they're saying, that's something that we know, okay, yes, they're being truthful in what they're saying because their body language is confirming that. Where we find people lying is when they say one thing and they do another thing. When they say, oh, we were just joking around, but all of the body language, all the signals, the embarrassment from the worker, the nervous smile and wave, the offering of the hand, she not taking it, all of those things confirm that something is not in accordance with what the president was telling us afterwards. And so body language is very difficult to camouflage, very difficult to fake. We can lie, we can say things, we can maybe put on a good face, but eventually our body language, our tone of voice, the things that we do, they betray us. And so as you are dealing with people and trying to determine whether or not they're being truthful with you, be aware, is what their body is telling you the same thing as what they are telling you in their words. Good con men are able to take their body language and make those messages consistent. But in the moments that matter the most, when you are caught off guard, you don't have the time to really prepare and to make your body align with your words. And so just a quick lesson on body language. By the way, if you've got any other body language or situations that you'd like me to break down and take a look at, share them in the comments. If this is helpful, share it in the comments. Where we find these types of things the most helpful is in our relationships with other people and whether or not we're trying to determine whether they're honest with us, whether they're being authentic, whether they're being truthful in what they're telling us, or are we being deceived. So thanks for watching. Tune in next time. Take care.